Good afternoon and welcome. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. The big story that we are tracking right now, the Israeli filmmaker Nadav Lapid, who was a part of the jury at the 2022 International Film Festival of India, has stirred another controversy after he called the Kashmir Files vulgar and propaganda film yesterday. Now the Israeli filmmaker has targeted India, saying that the film was pushed by Indian government and has tried to also to lecture India on the Kashmir issue. So this is the latest that we are getting right now. We understand that he has spoken to a media house and he has continued not just calling the film propaganda, but he's also gone on to speak in detail about this. I'm going to try and go across to Shravan Sen for more details on this, but we are given to understand that Lapid has spoken to an Israeli media house where he continues to target India. In that interview, he says that the film was pushed by the Indian government. Lapid, who of course is in the middle of a huge controversy over his comments that he made at the International Film Festival of India in Goa, in his closing remarks had targeted the Kashmir Files, saying that this was a propaganda film. Now thereafter, of course, he received a lot of criticism, not just from the Israeli High Commissioner, as well as from various envoys from Israel who are in India, as well as Israeli filmmakers, but also from various political parties in India. Now, we're given to understand that he has now come out with another interview that he has given to an Israeli media house, and in that interview, he has continued to target India. Niranjan Narayanswamy is joining us on the phone line. He has more details on this. Niranjan, what we are given to understand is that he's continuing to talk about the film, and he has said that the film was pushed by the Indian government. Also, he says that the Kashmir policy has a fascist feature. Please tell us more in terms of what he said in that interview.
Well, it's complete irony that, while he was on stage as the head of the jury at IFFI, he used the stage at IFFI to make a speech, and he said he was feeling very comfortable. He said, his exact words were that he feels comfortable to speak his mind at IFFI in Goa. So immediately after that event, it appears that this interview, which was given to Ynet, which appears to be a Israeli media house, he was asked a few questions about the controversy, and he says, some of his exact quotes from that interview are that India as a country is increasingly losing the ability to speak and speak the truth. And he also says that he saw the movie but couldn't help but imagine the Israeli equivalent of it. Not just that, he also says, and he attacks the Indian government. He attacks India, the Indian government, India's Kashmir policy, and he says it's crazy what's going on here. And he says the Kashmir policy and the movie itself was pushed by the Indian government in a very unusual manner. He says the Kashmir policy is fascist in nature. And then he says that the government went all out to back this film because it suits their Kashmir policy and narrative, etc. And this appears to be an all-out attack on India, on the Indian government and India's Kashmir policy. And the irony is, this guy, this Nadav Lapid, he used India, a free country, a democracy, and a stage at IFFI. He happily went up on stage, said what he wanted, left IFFI, went to the airport, and then after going there, he says there's no free speech in India. It's completely bizarre.
And Niranjan, yesterday we were talking about how this appears to be more of a political comment than a comment on the film itself. I think we've also got Aarti Bhatt with us on the phone line. Aarti Bhatt, thank you for joining us. How do you see this comment that he's made to an Israeli media house? He not only goes on to defend his line from yesterday, but he also says that he feels that the film was pushed by the Indian government. Now, the fact of the matter is, at that very stage, he did continue to talk about how he feels that he can speak his mind at the International Film Festival of India. And now, of course, he comes out with this comment. How do you see this?
Such type of comments are really disgusting. The people who are making such type of comments against the movie and for the Kashmiri Pandits, it is really insult for almost 7 lakh Kashmiri Pandits. This type of picture should have been come very early to know this country, what actually has been done with this minority community in Kashmir Valley. The people who are supporting them, are they really denying the fact that we have been, it was genocide of Kashmiri Pandits? Does they know what type of problems we have faced even after migration, even after our displacement? And this type of comments, when any responsible person is making, he is trying to show that he is a secular and he is living in this secular country. Independent country and Kashmiri Pandits who are refugees in their own country for 32 years, and still people are trying to, making such type of comments, and it is definitely disheartened us every time. We should support what picture has actually shown the reality of Kashmiri Pandits, rather to support that movie and to support the concept, so that country will know and the people will know what actually has happened in the Kashmir Valley against the minority Hindus.
Absolutely.